All right. Basically, Cover Up's blog is a blog that I started. I don't even remember. I'd have to look back in like all the history. I think the archives shows me. It doesn't show you what year, but the archives here will show me when I started. That's kind of like my first post. So I've started Cover Ups and I've been doing it for a long time. It's basically it's a I wanted to do a conspiracy website or something like that, and I wanted to do it free because I mean I don't really have money. So I started using Blogger, and I just basically did it because in a way, I mean, I got tired of talking to people that I knew about conspiracies, UFOs, government, all kinds of shit like that. So I just said, you know what, fuck it. I'm gonna do a like a blog or whatever, and I'm just gonna post whatever I come across that I found interesting and I felt like people should know. Um, and straight up, like I wanted to monetize it as well at one point. I wanted to sell stuff. Like I wanted to sell like maybe other people's books. Like at the time when I started this, I was reading like the David Icke book, The World's Biggest Secret, and Children of the Matrix, and I was reading some stuff I got from what was it, Alex Jones's site back in the days. But the books I got from him, they were just I didn't really it wouldn't interest me too much. I read them, but they were too far out. I think it was a Red Cloud Over America was one of them, and there was another one, but it didn't really make too much sense to me. So anyway, so I wanted to do stuff like that. Like I wanted to sell other people's DVDs, and stuff like that. Like basically conspiracy generated stuff that I found that I thought, oh, this is cool. I would like that. And I wanted to use this as a marketplace for that as well. But with that being said, so that never worked out. Like I just couldn't do that. Like I tried and I don't think it ever really worked. But so I just went down the line and I just kept the pace of what I've been doing. Like I kept just posting and posting and posting. I'd find something that I thought interesting and I post it, and it became somewhat of so Cover Ups is kind of like a vlog in a way. It's not me, but it's other people's videos, and I'm just sharing information because I feel like this is stuff that people need to see. So so I kept doing it and I kept doing it and I kept doing it, and I became pretty proud of the Cover Ups blog. Like I actually was like I don't know, I just became proud of it. But like there's a lot of little paths to the Cover Ups blog thing. So I became proud of it, but like I did notice resistance, okay? And I don't even want to say that it's my knowledge because it could be, I mean, I'm just a regular dude. I'm not a coder. I'm not any marketer. I mean, I don't do any of that professionally. I do nothing like that. I mean, I'm a straight dropout, like straight up. So I don't have any knowledge of any of that shit. Like I'm not even good at math. So I'm like, what the fuck? But basically, I noticed a lot of little stupid things, and it felt like resistance. Like this is a good example. So this thing right here, it says total page views, and I always felt like this was wrong because, and maybe it's just the widget that they're using, but like I use other things like Google Analytics. I also use AdSense, and these all of them are reading differently, and it feels like they're fucking with my counts, and they're fucking with I mean I haven't I actually started doing what I'm doing right now because I felt like this stuff needed to get out too. And not only that, but I wanted to start spreading my opinions, and I feel like my blog doesn't get as much attention if I'm not voicing out and speaking as an individual. Because I've noticed, I mean, I've been doing this for years. I don't even want, let's just say 5 years, maybe it could be even more, but I've been doing Cover Up's blog for about 5 years, and 5 years every fucking other day or whatever week, and boom, 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 I've been doing videos forever. So there is I know there are people that do come to the blog and they're like, oh, I'm gonna check that blog out and see if there's anything there. So it does, I do get people coming. Um, but I'm losing my train of thought in a way. But oh yeah, so I guess I don't know where I'm fucking going with this. So yeah, so I wanted to. So I felt like since I'm only posting videos and it's just content, there's no, I mean, narrative in a way. I felt like I watched other people doing this. I've seen a lot of channels. I mean, um, I've seen so many different channels like evolve and do their thing, or some fall off. And like, I want to, I want to like just throw names on like Dabu. I mean, I remember back even before Dabu started doing his thing, and he blew up. And I mean, I'm not trying to blow up. That's not what I'm trying to do because I really don't. I'm not looking for that part. Like, to be honest with you, deep down in my heart, like I don't really give a shit about that. Like, I just want, I don't know, it's kind of hard to explain, but I feel like I want justice, you know? So that's why I never did this to begin with, because I don't want to be out there like that, and I don't want to put myself out there as an individual. I don't want to, I kind of, in a way, I enjoy anonymity and to being anonymous, anonymity. I forget how to say that, but I want to be anonymous and I don't really give a shit. So I just want to put these videos out. But I feel like my content that I'm putting here is not getting taken as serious as it would if I was speaking out as well against it. So I've been going over my head for a while, like maybe like about a year or so, thinking like, okay, and I want to say another couple names actually. What is that? God, they're Stranger Than News. I think I've got mixed feelings about him, but Stranger Than News. What is it? What is it? The World's Scariest Stories or something like that. The Vigilant Christian. There's just so many of these individual channels that I've followed for a long time, and I respect them. You know what I mean? So so I felt like I was like, you know what? I have to, I've got to speak out on my own blog. I've got to start talking because I feel like people take these guys more serious when they're listening to what they're saying. If I'm just showing out videos, shooting videos, I mean, people enjoy it, but there's no connection there. So I felt like, okay, let me just start doing this. And to be honest with you, I've been going over in my head about this for a while, and I've been thinking like I want it to be more than that. And I know some people won't respect this, or maybe they might, but like I actually, if I'm gonna do it this way, like I want to take this out of the conspiracy um, uh, area as well, and kind of document my life as an individual as well. I mean, I'm not going to be showing videos of me like, shopping for fucking groceries, but I guess what I want to do is I want to document a lot of hardships that I'm going through as an individual in the system that we're living in, and I think that's important for me too because I go through a lot of shit just as well as a lot of people that are looking at these videos do. I feel like people that are watching this content, they're trying to understand what the fuck is going on and why are we suffering as individuals or as a human race or whatever, so I said, I want that. Oh, I didn't realize I had double posted this. So anyway, I felt like I wanted that. I want to do that. So I just hope that people can respect that. And I personally have to be able to distance myself from the comments because I mean, I'm a fucking internet user and I know how it gets when people want to bust your balls about the dumbest shit and, they want to thrash you. And there's also embeds, I heavily believe in that. I've got a lot of beliefs that are not stressed out on the blog. And this is another reason for me doing this, okay, is that I felt at a time when I was doing posts, I used to actually smoke a lot of weed and I used to drink coffee and I would sit like at my blog and I'd go through a story. I'd actually watch the whole video, and as I was watching the video, I'd sit down there and I'd take notes on what I was seeing and what I was perceiving it to be. I don't personally, I don't think I was taking anything out of context, but I don't know if I can get a good example. Maybe if I go back on the blog, but I felt like posts like that were getting so much more attention. I mean, when I was doing that and I was narrating the videos, it made it so much more interesting to people because what they would do is people are real hesitant when it comes to looking at stuff, you know. So, for instance, like this, they'd see, oh, Agenda 21, the movie, the mega cities are coming. I don't know if I want to see that. You know what I mean? I don't really give a fuck about that or whatever. But then when I would post, I don't think this might be my narrative. It might be theirs. But then when they see a video like this, it'd say microwave, Wi-Fi, cell phone danger, and avoiding it. And then they say, I don't know if I want to see that, but what is this? And I guess you're intrigued to read. So, and there's a lot of people that enjoy reading. That's another aspect of this whole site as well because I post links to people that are just doing writing. But so then they'd see something like Barry Towers, former Royal Forces microwave expert, explains the shocking truth. Yeah, I didn't write that, but you know you'd see something and you'd want to read it, and then that would make you more enticed to say, you know what, wow, let me see what the fuck this video is about. So so typing out was a lot more would get a lot more attention to a video that I was trying to stress. But for me, I mean, I'm a regular guy. I've got a real life, and I can't just like I mean, I've got a social life. So I couldn't really just keep doing that as much as I wanted to. Like I had to actually focus on my real life. So for me, it became a lot easier for me to just, shoot out these videos. Oh, here's a video I was watching, put it on the blog. Here's a video I saw, put it on the blog. Here's a video, and that made it so much quicker for me to continue the blog. I never intended to see an end to the blog in a way. I've only wanted it to grow, and that's because I mean, this is just me. Like I guess I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I've grown up in I've grown up in the system, and I grew up in I don't want to say straight up broken home, but yeah, I grew up in a broken home. So, and I grew up kind of, I'm not. I've had luxuries, but like I grew up fucked up. Like I grew up in the street, and eventually I'll get to talking to a lot of this stuff, but so I grew up like I'm not homeless or anything at any point, but or houseless, but I grew up in the street and I know what it is, I've been out there. I've done crazy stuff. I'm not a career criminal or anything like that, but I get it. I know that line. Like I've been out there. So um I'm losing my track of mine again, but I guess like so I just wanted to start narrating the blog basically, and I want to kind of connect. I want to be able to connect so people can kind of. I want to gain attention to the blog, of course, but I also want to actually get some stuff out that is really grinding my gears, and it gets me, and it's the resistance that I come up against, and it's not blatant. I mean, I don't have anybody, telling me to shut my shit down, but I come up against a lot of resistance, and they're so fucking snaky. So here's a good example. And so what does it say? Food contact materials. Oh, is it? Yeah, food contact materials and the depopulation program. So this video's obviously been taken down. Let's see if I could open this up. And I know this is going to lead us to an empty window, but this guy's channel has gotten taken down, and especially now, this is what is it? 5/2020, I think it is. So in this era right now, we're dealing with a lot of censorship, and people like this always have. It's a different form, but this is a form of censorship that I come across all the time, and it's sad because you would want to say, I know a lot of skeptics will argue, oh, this just the maybe you're using video slices from a movie or blah blah blah, and it'll come down and be like, oh, it's straight bullshit, But people are entitled to their opinions, and one thing in the conspiracy world, it comes down to where, if it's such bullshit, what are you afraid of? And what are the police like to do this a lot? I forget what they say, but they say something like if you're not doing nothing, you shouldn't have nothing to hide, and that's bullshit. I firmly believe in privacy, and I feel like like our opinions and our privacies are getting trampled to beyond belief, and that's because we're living in an information age, and this information age is right now. And it's funny because even back in the day, maybe a couple of 5 years back or whatever, they were saying that there's an awakening, and to be honest, it's true. I'm seeing it. It took years, but in my posting, and I also do some of this on my Facebook, but I follow, these groups, and I've seen it grow, and that's because the internet, bottom line, the internet is making it so easy for people to, trade ideas across the oceans. And before it wasn't like that, before you'd have to meet somebody from another place, or you'd have to be traveling and be telling people these type of things. So it makes it so much easier for this information to move on. So that's why I think that they're leaning a lot harder. Though they're trying to, they're discreetly trying to block it, but it's definitely, there's definitely pushback. So, and I wanted to, the reason I'm bringing that up is that whole spiel was I want to start documenting some of these things that I'm seeing as pushback, because and I know it sound I don't think it's crazy, but like I really want to reach out to the people that are coming across this blog and I'm asking for help, and I'm not asking for money. I'm asking for support in building this blog, because again, I don't know a lot. Like there's a lot I don't know, and this is such a simple thing. And it really upsets me because I'm like, what the F is going on, So like for instance, and I know this is a dumb thing, but like the number count. You know, the number count is obviously fucked, and I want to fix that. I just want to iron out this whole fucking site, because um, I feel like if it was, it'd be a lot better. And here's another good example. So this has been kind of currently pissing me off about the blog, is that with the AdSense thing. Okay, so I've had AdSense on here for fucking ever. Okay, I've had it for years, and I've also used Google Analytics, and this will tell me, who's coming to my blog and where they're from, and I always enjoyed that. One thing that I really enjoy the most about CoverUp's blog is going to the Google Analytics stuff and looking to see where people are coming from. It was really nice to see they had a map at one point, and I would see. I mean, it sounds totalitarian, but I would really enjoy. Coming to the blog and seeing, oh, look, this person's coming from Iceland. Oh, this person is coming from Russia. Oh, this person's coming from Japan. And then like as the blog grew, it was covering, the whole planet. And I was just like that made me happy, and I'm sure everybody, loves recognition. So it's for me, it wasn't so much about the recognition. It was more or less knowing that something that I'm doing is making a change worldwide. And I was really proud of that. So um going into that, I guess what I'm trying to make a point about that is that I feel like this whole thing is just the whole blog. It's been knocked down because of that, because it has been spreading. They're using tools, and you come into this thing in the conspiracy world with skeptics that they say, who is they? I like to use, anybody in the conspiracy world will say they a lot. They're fucking censoring me, or look what they've done. And then that boils down to the government. Oh, the government is doing this, the government is doing that. And then personally, I'm going on a limb here because I know people are going to, I know how reactions will help, but I do believe in, I know aliens exist, okay? I mean, not aliens, but I know UFOs exist. I've seen UFOs, okay? So there's is something out there, okay? I mean, I do believe in ghosts and things like that too. So there's a supernatural thing going on, as well, that is not being explained. I mean, we're not talking about our dreams as well. I always, one thing I used to bother me is, in the media, in the education system, it's so much out here, but the dreams are never really studied, and dreams are really never put out in the forefront. Dreams are a taboo in a way, and that upsets me, because I know, that means that there's something powerful there, and a lot of ancient civilizations will agree with that. But I'm trying to get to a point. So what I was trying to say is that I do believe in aliens, and through what I want to call research. I do believe in reptilians. There's a double post here too. What the fuck? So, I do believe in reptilians, and I mean, I've getting into the reptilian thing. I've actually personally seen. I don't. They're not a shapeshift, but I've seen eye slit. So, well, let's talk about that a little bit, I guess. So that's one thing for me that was a big deal. Okay, so through the conspiracy blog, I was just doing government cover-ups and stuff like that, and I was doing little UFO shit here and there. And then at one point, so there's this kind of like Big Bang part in cover-ups for me where I was looking into stuff, and I guess I was getting stoned. I don't know what it was, but like I came across some of this and with the David Icke stuff, I came across some of it, and then I started trying to find videos on this. I was like, well, if you know, there's so many videos of UFOs. UFOs, I believe a lot of those videos are real. I've never really seen a UFO alien video that I kind of believe because those are really sparse and you never know what the fuck it is. I mean, there's so much CGI, who never knows? I've seen stuff that I kind of want to believe, but I can't say for sure because I've never seen it, so how the fuck do I know? Um, but I started coming across these type of videos of like, you know, here we go, stuff like this, like people eyes slitting and stuff. And when I came across it, I genuinely felt with all the stuff I had read about it, I said, you know what? This shit is like, I think these fools are telling the truth, you know? So that led me on to this like draconian, you know, I don't know if you've ever seen, if you haven't, you need to, but if you've ever seen the series V, um, and a lot of people know the film They, these are films that are about what I'm trying to go on about, and I believe this is kind of the world that we live in. Um, it's not out there, you're not going to see it. It's such an it's like, in a way it's like the masonry stuff where if you don't know what you're looking at, you're not going to see it. And that's kind of what I believe with this kind of stuff. And I do think it's dangerous. When I was doing some of this stuff, like I didn't really, I wasn't scared or anything, and I'm not really too scared now, but I have seen, I've experienced some things that have actually made me say, oh shit, these niggas aren't fucking around. These fools will fuck us up. Like, so anyway, what is this? Okay, so, okay, so basically there's some more censorship, fucking assholes. So I guess what I was trying to say is that, that's one thing, I lose my train of thought a lot because there's a lot of stuff that I want to talk about and I'm kind of just rambling. I don't have there's no set goal of what I'm trying to say. So, this is all just me live, just trying to explain the blog. So, so I just wanted to kind of say, you know, this is kind of the stuff I do believe that we're dealing with, and I guess in a way I want to also say this is why I think the censorship is so important because, in a way this kind of all tumbles down into this kind of hole here. Um, yeah, see, and this is like if it's just shit, why are you hiding it, you know? And you know, I'd really like to get just off the cuff though, I'd really like to, this is one of the goals I wish I could achieve here with cover ups is being able to host my own site with a shit ton of space, and I could host these videos on my own. I mean, I know that's impossible. That's like some Google shit. I mean, that's some like a YouTube shit where you have to have massive servers. But I'd really like to do that. I'd really like to start taking some of these videos and preserving them because I feel like, you know, they're like, okay, so especially now, they've been doing this for a long time, but currently in this time, 2020, we're dealing with Facebook, and we're dealing with YouTube dropping a massive censorship. I mean, they're even censoring themselves at one point, which is silly. I mean, I did a post recently that was it was like I don't know, it was like Washington Times, okay? And the Washington Times was saying something about I don't know, some conspiracy shit, and they were agreeing with it. They're like, oh look, this conspiracy seems to be true or whatever. Like, and and then I posted it back on Facebook, and then Facebook is another major fucking demon that I neglected to mention. I forgot to say that, but then Facebook comes out and they're doing this whole program. They're leading the forefront, really, and YouTube and Facebook are leading the forefront in censorship. But and then so I posted the Washington Post video about a conspiracy. Then Facebook comes in, and then they're like Washington Post or Washington Times fact checkers say that this story is wrong. And I'm just like, what the fuck? You're the one that posted the story. You posted the story about this shit, and now you're saying it's wrong, which is crazy. And the funny thing is, I came across a story not too long after I saw that, where the fact checking from Facebook admitted that basically they're only censoring titles. They're not even going through the story. So what they would do is, they have, and I'm sure it's a bot, but it's some stupid bot. It'd say proof they live as a documentary banned in the U.S., and then they'd say, oh, they live, and then they'd realize the content is in some kind of conspiracy thing, and they'd say, okay, this is bullshit, So it's no longer about checking. It's more about censorship, and that's as obvious to a lot of us because it's blatant, and I like to believe it's childish. I mean, I'm a lot older. I mean, when I was young, I would, get okay, but now it's getting childish. Now it's getting, I mean, if once you get older, you realize how immature a lot of this shit is. It's a bunch of bullying, it's a bunch of this is my toy, you can't have it type thing. And it's stupid, so, in my opinion. So anyway, let's go ahead and move on and see where this goes. But so this is just a lot of stuff, and this is a lot of censoring shit. And this is another reason that led me to believe that this stuff is kind of true, because I'd see a lot of other conspiracy stuff come out, and they wouldn't really give a fuck. But when I was dropping stuff like this, you know, uh, HD documentary reptilians, the alien race here on Earth, and they say this would come down within like a couple weeks, and this I think there was a time at this time, what is it, in 17, when this was getting popular, in my opinion, in the conspiracy realm. And then it is funny because it spiraled out of control, and even Alex Jones would actually for a long time say, I don't want to get into that. I don't really want to. I don't know if he went as far as to say I don't believe in that stuff, but he's like, I don't believe. I just that's not. We're trying to keep it to the real, brass tacks of what's going on. And then after this era of all these videos we were circulating, he finally got down and just said, you know what? It's goddamn interdimensional aliens. And I just was like, what the fuck? And he sided with David Icke in a way, and that's kind of where I was for a long time too. So because it's how do I say this? Like, I like to used to say this a lot too when I have discussions with my friends. At one point, I say, "This isn't human. Humans wouldn't do this to each other. Humans don't act like that." In the study for the reptilian stuff, we have a reptilian brain, but it's not that far. Like, I just bottom line, humans wouldn't do this kind of stuff to each other. Yes, we're violent. I get that, but in my heart, I think that. A world kind of maybe this is me being wishful, but in a world domination scenario, and hiding truths and stuff, and maybe it is just us, but I do believe that there is some kind of um, uh, puppeteering going on in that area, or in the area. So anyway, that's the reptilian shapeshifter stuff. And I've noted, and I don't want to keep talking about this because I guess I should, because this is what the blog's about. But this is just a number one thing and it's kind of died out, and I want to explain why. So the funny thing about the reptilian shapeshifter shit is that on we're talking about Cover's blog here too, but it got to the point where, like, I personally, because this was all a personal experience too. I'm not. I mean, oh, I didn't mention the incident. Okay, so I got to the point. I need like I need an assistant or something, but I need to actually make notes to stop because I'm going everywhere. So I guess I'll just say it. So what I wanted to say earlier and I forgot to mention was so I have seen I've seen UFOs, never seen an alien, but I have seen somebody's eyes slit. And that's where I wanted to get to, and I just got on a rant. But so I have seen somebody's eyes slit in personally in front of me, okay? So when I was going through all this information, I came across some stuff that was saying it's a lot, it's really I don't know if it's like telepathic where we're scared because we know it's true and we hide that. And in a way, that fear is putting up a blanket where we won't see that, okay? And when I was going through that information, they were kind of mentioning if you want to not if you want to see it, you have to look for it, and you have to you have to disagree with them. You have to like look, it has to be down in your core, and you have to be able to disagree with it and say, and not everybody is one, but you have to disagree with it, and this has to be down in your core of thinking, your subconscious. And when you stare at somebody, and this is why the old saying goes, look somebody in the eye. A lot of people don't realize this because there's a lot of fear. So and a lot of times you meet somebody new, we've become I don't know how do you say that, but like we're shy in a way, I call it fear, but you meet somebody, a lot of people don't like meeting new people. You want to be introvert, you just want to stay in your house and be cozy with your cats and be on the internet and watch, TV, Hulu and shit or whatever the fuck. So this allows them a lot of leeway. But if you because after I was doing all this research, I came into this and I believed it. I said, okay, let's look at this. So I started looking into it and I started believing it. And the funny thing is, when I started meeting people, I started looking at them directly in their eye, and trying to like that cowboy feeling where it's like, howdy, how are you doing? And you look them in the eye, and it wasn't a convicting look, but you're looking at them in the eye and you're showing them, I'm me, you are you, hi, nice to meet you type thing. So anyway, at one point, my sister introduced me to a friend of hers, and it's a long story, but it's a strange sister that showed up, and she was living with us at one point, and she had a best friend of hers she wanted to introduce me to, and this blew my mind. But I was on that sense, I was on that feeling. So I she introduced me, oh hey, this is my friend. So I went to shake her hand. It was a girl actually, and I went to shake her hand. She was older, maybe into her like 40s or whatever, late 30s, and I shake her hand and I looked directly into her eye and I shook her hand, and sure enough, her fucking eyes slit. And I didn't get frightened. I didn't get scared because I had already been going through a lot of this information that I accepted it and I wasn't scared of it. So I actually responded. I didn't say anything, but I was nice to her and I said, "Oh, nice to meet you, blah blah blah." But deep down in my kind of telepathic state, I tried to press that's okay. I saw you. I saw what you did. That's okay. I expressed love. I wasn't there to start, fucking, you're a damn reptilian, burn the motherfucker. Like, it wasn't like that, and, that would be, that's just not the way it works. So anyway, I was like, I saw it. And for me, that was a major pivotal point too, because I said, oh shit, I've seen UFOs. Now I personally have an account with this that leads me to believe that it's not as much bullshit as that they want you to think it is. And it's, so anyway, there's that. So, and there was some other stuff. Okay, so then I wanted to go into the reptilian thing dying down. So at a time, this was really popular, and there was a lot of YouTubers coming out and doing videos and stuff, and we were more of a subculture, but we were kind of expanding, and a lot of people were getting the message that, oh shit, maybe this shit is real. So what I wanted to get to was that we were seeing, this, I believe, this is a recent one, and I don't really think this is a real one. It looks more CGI to me. Something like this is kind of the stuff that we were getting into. And this guy right here, he's actually was part of the team when I don't know him personally, but when I was coming into the conspiracy thing, I was reading the David Icke books, and then I started looking at videos. This is one of the guys that I found. Another one is Frequency Fence. I want to start opening windows, but I'm new to this recording, and I don't want a lot of my porn coming out. You're gonna see. my fucking porn websites, like, oh, look, he's looking at porn. Like, I don't know what's gonna pop up if I start surfing. So anyway, I'm gonna wait on surfing in maybe another video. But so anyway, where are we at? So I was talking about the reptilian thing dying down. So we were getting on videos like this, right? And then I really wish I would have documented stuff back then about this because it was a fucking interesting time. And Frequency Fence is a guy that was one of the pivotal flag holders on YouTube. So look him up, Frequency Fence. I think he might have changed his name a little bit, like Frequency Fence something, but Frequency Fence, Reptilian Shapeshifters. He did some videos way back where it was just text. It was video of text documents, and he was explaining this crazy time, how how the reptilians are fucking they're controlling time and all this other crazy shit. And I just was like, what the fuck? But he also talked about pornography, and it's funny that I just mentioned that, but he also talked about pornography and how they're using this, and it was just fucking, it was, and this was a while ago, but it was so out I don't want to say outrageous, but because I don't want to discredit it, but it was so outrageous that it just blew my mind, and that really fucking put me onto it. But at the time, these videos, they seemed grainy, but as this movement with these guys kept moving, we were really finding crazy stuff, and like it looked so legitimate. And then because they couldn't censor us by taking videos off, like that was the funny thing I noticed, that by just doing this, that wouldn't stop us, because then the next week a video like this would pop up, and then a video like this would pop up, whatever, blah blah blah. And this is a good guy too, if you don't know him, Marino Delfino. Definitely, he's kind of died out, but this guy at his beginning was fucking hard. But so basically, we had these kind of videos, and they were getting really good and yada yada, and then they started throwing in bed videos. And at this currently the U.S., and we're going through a huge civil unrest and civil war, because it's turning into a civil war right now. But in these riots, I believe personally, and I'm not really covering this right now, because it breaks my heart in a way, but there's embeds, okay? And if I've been looking at conspiracies for a long time, and even in the 60s, and through the I don't want to coin words that I don't know what I'm saying, but like ADL, Anti-Defamation League, and stuff like that, the Black Panther, back in those, the Cohen Pro and these type of things, their number one agenda is to use embeds. It's like a secret spy, a it's really turns into spy games. But they're using these kids currently to basically do a fucking a huge breakdown, and it's really fucked up to see, because the information is not being passed fast enough, so it's just crazy, and that we're not really talking so much about that right now. I would like to, but I'm still absorbing a lot of that, and a lot of this we're not going to see until it's done. But so anyway, so they're using they used the same technique. So when we were doing all these crazy videos, and showing all these videos like this, they came back instead and just started discrediting the movement by putting CGI videos. And I don't know about this one, but I would say something like this. And that really kind of got me. That really upset me, because I understood at this point. And the worst part is that people that didn't know what was going on and just wanted to believe were accepting it as truth. And they were saying, please tell me those little pop-ups aren't coming up on my fucking video. Anyway, it's like Steam pop-ups. But basically, people that were trying to believe were seeing these videos, and they were taking it and running with it and believing it. And then it was discrediting the movement, because anybody that knew anything would say, "Oh, this is bullshit." And even we get a lot of that now. Let's see if I could find some stuff. I never really post this, but so currently the reptilian shapeshifter videos, you'll get these pixelated videos, which I think I mean, I don't want to keep getting on about this, because I didn't intend to make this video about this particular topic, but it's a heavy topic with cover-ups, and I think maybe I should. Um, so the pixelated videos where people you'll see people I don't again I don't like posting them because I really don't believe in them so much, but the whole theory behind it was, see, look at all those fucking assholes blocking us. Look at all this. So this is somewhat what we're talking about, I guess. Pixelated videos. So the pixelated videos from what I've looked into and all of this, the theory was that these aliens were using technology to cover up themselves from us, and that's why we can't see them, yada, yada, yada. And I do believe a lot of that's true too, in a way, you know? So when I was looking at this, after this whole wave of conspiracy videos were coming out, and then they try to discredit it with the fake ones, then we started seeing these pixelated videos. And actually at that time, they changed the frequency that the TVs were running on, which was interesting to us because that's when we knew, oh shit, maybe what we're talking about is true because we were seeing all these, we were catching all these like videos of people shapeshifting and stuff, and then we're like, what is this? And then they changed the frequency on us, and you know, I think it was like your basic cable provider. If you were on, like, I forget how it works, but if you were like on an antenna or something, you could no longer use this. There was a day where they switched all the frequencies, and that frequency could no longer, you know, they would stop airing TV on that frequency, and you would have to use some digital converter to watch TV. And and when that came out, then all these pixelated videos started coming out, and and that kind of goes in a way hand in hand with this digital cloaking that we're talking about, because for us as theorists we were saying, oh look, now they're fucking, now they're covering up their now they're covering their shit up because they're fucking, you know, we're exposing them, so they're changing the frequency, so they're using they're updating their technology of the cloaking basically through the TV. And then that was just like, then after that, that shit just kind of plateaued. The videos plateaued, but you can still see it. You know, I've seen some. I can't say I've seen anything personally after a while. I do see a lot of lizard lick. I see a lot of tongue licking. I see a lot of that. Um, tongue licking is like, tongue licking will never die. You'll see it all the time. And the funny thing is nobody really pays attention to it. Personally, I don't fucking lick my lips. I mean, I don't get that. Like, you know, some people want to say it's sexy and shit, but then it's like, okay, that's one people like, oh, I'm a teen and I want to look sexy for a chick. I'm licking my lips, okay? But when you have a politician that's out there, you know, talking about like fiscal agendas or whatever, and he's licking his lips, or you've got a newscaster and he's licking his lips, that's not to be sexy. You know what I mean? That's a whole different shit, you know? Um, he's not trying to flex. So I believe that was true too. There's just so much I could. There's a lot of stuff on this that I could go into. But this, see, things like this really upset me because these were the ones that were, you know, that were like, let's see if this guy still has his channel open, new tab. Yeah, fucking assholes took it down. Yeah, don't look at my private stuff. So anyway, so then there's that. So so basically, you know, this is kind of where the blog came from. That's one, it's not the origin, but it was one of the high points, I think, for Cover Up's blog, is when we started doing the reptilian stuff. I'd like to play some of these videos, but the audio is probably going to be super loud. Here's another guy, like, and I don't, I'm gonna be real with you, okay? So I really think I should express my opinions because I'm a quiet guy and I don't like to fucking bash people, but like this guy Bruce, I Bruce, I know he's gonna, if this shit gets out, I know he'll probably hate me, but like I don't know him, but like I believe this guy's an embed. Like I don't, I remember I actually lived in the same uh city as him, and he actually went from nothing, okay, to being on documentaries, and I just was like, how the fuck does that guy do that? You know, and he was speaking out basically. he did a really interesting video where he was claiming that he was doing what I was doing in a way too. And I remember this because I was actually going through somewhat similar, but he was posting reptilian shit, and then he was getting a lot of helicopters like following his house, and I used to get that a lot too. I've had helicopters outside of my window where I open my window, they're just hovering, and I'm like, what the fuck is going on? I look, there's nobody out there, and they're just hovering around my house, and it got to the point where it was really annoying, and at one point I didn't even care anymore. I'm just like, okay, look, I'm not smuggling drugs or anything, so fuck off. So anyway, so he was doing stuff, and then he fucking got super popular. But I don't know, some of his stuff, like, this is a rip. I think he's ripping this whole Blade Runner thing, I think, came from Frequency Fence, and then he's ripping it, and then kind of like, oh, look at the reptilian thing, like, nigga, you jacking the whole movement. So there is a theory that demonic entities possess people who run the world. These demons are referred to by many names: shape-shifting reptilians, and what the US calls them. I don't know what the hell is saying there. Here is a video showing what could be real footage in Hollywood films of actors showing signs of this typical possession. So the theory as well is that it's demon possession, or that they're fallen angels. So the Draconian race. I mean, I don't know, because I'm not a fucking on I'm not on the council of alien fucking relations, but um I mean, and uh through biblical understanding, that's what the theory is, that they're not friendly, obviously. I mean, they're draconian, and they're fucking passing draconian laws, but they're not friendly, and they would say demon possession. Then they went into this thing that secret societies would have you possessed by them, or something like this, and that's how shapeshifters were kind of, I guess, cloned out, or that's how they're made, or whatever. um and that's just part of the aspect of that whole conspiracy theory. Let's get out of this shit for a while, because I'm boring myself. I mean, I find it interesting, but like, I'll just keep going on and on about that, and I didn't want to make this video and sound too crazy, but so anyway, I just wanted to start doing videos to fucking speak out on my blog and just say, hey, look, I'm here, fucking, this is what it is, this is what we're looking at. And I wanted to narrate the blog a little bit. So let's try to I'll do a little bit of that, and then I'm gonna end the video because this shit feels like it's getting long, and I gotta work later too. So anyway, so so this is this is just some guy. I guess there was a meme that was going around that was really funny, and this guy was right. He was actually in the right at one point, and there was a picture of his horse, and his horse was bugged out. I wish I had it. They actually took it down. Facebook censored that picture, which was so stupid. But his horse was like fucking standing all crazy looking, and his eyes were all bugged out, like, what the fuck is going on? And they tried to say it was a police horse, but it wasn't. So apparently this guy, he's known, I think it was called like the dreadlock, yeah, here we go, the dreadhead cowboy. He actually rides around the town there, and he has a horse, and people know him. But it's funny because he's like, I'm gonna join the riot. So that this nigga went out there in his horse, and he's just been riding around town like, what's up, so that was actually funny. Let's see what we play some of that. Yeah, so he's going down the street in his horse like, let's do this shit, and people were like, yeah, it's him, which I thought was cool. That's why I wanted to share it. um yeah. There he is. That's hilarious. But the whole reason I shared that too more is because I wanted to actually show that picture. I was trying to hunt down the picture of his horse bugged out, because they were trying to censor it, and I thought that was stupid. So I wanted to find the original picture and save it or post it somewhere. So anyway, here's another one. Now this is fucked up. Like, there's so many mixed views. There's so many mixed views. Sorry if it gets loud. There's so many mixed views about what's going on, but this is straight fucked up. Like, okay, now you're pushing. There's one thing I've noticed too, just in life in general, is that, what do they say? Is it like a cat or something? You can only push a cat up against a wall so far before he attacks you. Um, that's what you're, and I'm not saying what either of them are doing is right, but you got a fucking cop right there. Okay, cool. You're fucking with him. You're not letting him pass. Fine. But now you're starting to threaten his life at this point. And I know they've got guns and everything, but you guys obviously outnumber him, and you could Reginald Denny this nigga like real quick. Um, so even then, it's still not uncalled for. I believe this guy should have backed the fuck up and went fuck back home where you came. Go back where you came from, basically. Um, so they're already upset. They're tired of it. They fucking start bashing on them, and I've been in a riot before in LA, so okay, I know that shit's, I know how that goes. So at this point, there's no more police. Get the fuck out, you know what I mean? And he wants to keep fucking I'm NYPD. So then he gets joined by another cop car, I think. So he's got backup now, calling for backup. His backup comes in, right? And then here's where it gets ugly. I don't know if you guys if you've seen this or whatever, but this is where it gets ugly. So it's like, dude, just back up. Like, what do you guys keep? Either you're gonna either I don't know, just back the fuck up because this doesn't look like a proper approach. So then they go into just trying to run people over, and that's when it's like, okay, what the fuck is going on? And they're just bashing them. And I have a theory on this too. I don't want to go so much into it because this video feels like it's getting long, but I feel like these cops are basically putting a lot of their equipment out there to get destroyed so they can claim at the end, because the government gets paid every year, and if you have a certain amount of you need a certain amount of funding through the end of the year. If you don't reach that type of funding, the government won't give you that money. If you haven't used that amount of money through the end of the year, you won't get that the next year. So you have to actually use that or use more. So it feels like what these guys are doing is actually creating their people don't realize this, but this whole police shit, in my opinion, is them actually you're upgrading the police now because you're telling them that they need more tools now because of this riot, you know? And I'm not trying to discredit the movement. I'm just trying to say from their standpoint, they're probably loving it because they're saying, you know what's going to happen? Like the topper heads, the street people probably hate it. The street beat cops, they hate it. But the people that are sitting in their offices watching this shit, fucking smoking cigars, they're probably laughing because they're going to end up getting a shit ton of money for this. And this is a good example too. So I spoke with my friend, and she believes that this is Antifa. I personally disagree. I really do believe it's this guy. But everybody is entitled to their own opinions. But here's another video where, and this is what leads me on. This is actually a long video, but this is what leads me to say that they're in beds. There's people that are out there. The establishment is putting in beds into the riot to continue this going. They're putting fuel on the fire. And this is a good example because people were kind of doing their protests. They weren't going too crazy. Then this guy went in and he basically tagged on the wall, free shit. Then busted all the windows into an auto zone and was like, let's go fucking riot. And people were like, what the fuck? What are you doing? That's not what we're doing here. And then they started chasing him down and asking him if he's a police officer. Um,
These two characters dress
and
so
this video is interesting
outrageously
because
that
they
the
go more
police
into
could
it.
easily spot them.
Let's
Who's
see.
walking around with an umbrella? Like, he looks like something out of like a Stephen King movie.
Yes,
And
because
then the
this video is
guy
a
in a
long. I
pizza
haven't seen the
box
whole
in a
thing.
pink
But I did
Walks
watch.
in, breaks the glass, and then walks
They're also saying that
directly at him. They start following
the
him
guy that's with him, he
and
acts in
start
this scene.
getting
This guy right here,
aggressive
they act like in this
with
scene
the
that they're not
people
together, but they
following him.
find them together in other videos, like
This
actually
fight here.
walking as they were together. And then they showed him in other parts like trying to kind of like coordinate groups. But anyway, if you haven't seen this video of this police officer, I don't know if you haven't seen this video, it's interesting. I'd take a look at it. Okay, I guess what I'll do is I'll just go through these a little bit. This is a fucking crazy one. What is this? NASA SpaceX. So they're launching a fucking space mission.
We are at T plus, and the
They're
second
claiming
stage
they're
is
in
on its way
space
to
at this
drop off
point, and
tagging
I
into
really
its
don't
targeted
believe that
orbit.
there's
As
space
a
travel
reminder,
like
the
this.
first
So
stage had an on-time launch today,
so they're in
plus 5
space,
minutes, and the second stage is on its way to drop off Dragon into its targeted orbit. As a reminder, the first stage had an on-time launch
and
today.
then there's a rat.
We are at
There's like a
T
mouse or a
plus
rat.
5 minutes, and the second stage is
And then
on
it's
its
fun. It's
way
funny
to
because the
drop
timing, it
off
looks like it's a
Dragon
different timing, but the mouse
into
just as
its
casual as
targeted
fuck. He's just
orbit.
like they're looking like they're
As a
blasting off,
reminder,
and
the
then the mouse is
first
just casually
stage had
walking
an
like, "What's up?"
on-time launch today at
So I don't know. I mean, I think that's crazy. I think I've seen that's an old one, but so here's more of this embed on the riot thing.
This right here, the setup.
So he's like look at, and anybody can tell this, but look at
Y'all know what
this.
building this is right here. I ain't even gonna say what name it is.
It's probably the audio. Oh,
This
I don't know. So and I've seen another video on Facebook where there was an image, but basically in all these major riot towns, somebody's coming in and they're dropping pallets of bricks and they're expecting these people to pick them up and throw them. So they're helping them, and they're enticing them to damage property. And that's what I'm trying to explain is that when you're damaging property, you're making for some of these big cats that have all the insurance in the world and they want you to do that because they're profiting from your rioting, bottom line. So whether you're standing up for your rights, I mean, when you're damaging the property, you're actually making them stronger, and people don't know that. But that's my opinion, and I'm sticking to it. So anyway, then uh, so my friend I was talking about this guy right here, and they were saying that this guy is Antifa, and I just don't agree with that. But um, there was a video, but I don't know shit about Antifa. I don't like politics, getting into politics. I'll get maybe that into another day, but I don't like getting into political sides because I think it's another form of separate, it's division and racism that I don't agree with. But I found this video interesting because they were actually just talking about who the fuck they are, and I've heard Vice is actually fucking assholes too, that they're pushing an agenda as well. So don't believe everything, but I've seen some videos that are interesting by them. So here's the actual full video of this guy.
It's Minneapolis, 3rd Precinct. That's the police station right
I
there.
want to make it bigger, but I don't want to fuck the video up. So
That's why I'm doing this shit, guys. What the?
so here it is.
I ain't got part of that shit.
So it's funny because this is so interesting. Some videos, some conspiracy videos that come out are just they really grab your attention.
Oh, I'm
And they're like this guy. I don't want to get
I
into it. Let's
zoomed
just
in.
watch.
We'll
There's
zoom
a
out a little
point I
bit.
want to
Those
make.
cops will come for you if you're.
So right here, I think either right here or right here, they said that he did graffiti that said free shit or whatever. So he wrote on the wall free shit. Then he goes down and busts all the windows and then walks away. He don't go in there. That fucking guy doesn't go in there. But he's trying to entice everybody to go in there and loot. And this is right across from the precinct. This is the day it got burned, I think.
Pulling off crap.
Which is a good chance that it was more of these embeds because these guys are out there, in my opinion. So, oh yeah, see, there was let's see. See, here it is right here, free shit and for everyone. Anyway, they were doing a lot of that. And I'm not in a city where we're doing crazy writing like that, but there was a lot of that everywhere. Like just I should just tell you I'm a graffiti artist, so you can tell somebody who's got the balls to go out there and tag like that. I don't think they're gonna just be, I don't know. I've got my opinions on some of the What I want to say is that some of the graffiti during this riot I feel is bullshit graffiti that they're trying to entice people, and it's dangerous. It's obviously become something that's spiraling out of control. But anyway, so and the funny thing, I don't want to get too much into this video because everybody's already knowing about it, but he's holding a spray can well, he's got a spray can in his pocket. You can see him he did it in his pocket. This is something that somebody else pointed out. So in his pocket you can see a spray can. And then why the fuck is this guy out there with the fucking gas mask on? Like I don't even think they've even used any of those. There's nothing out there that they were doing any of that. But they tied him to a police officer, and supposedly they also claimed that they contacted his wife, or his ex-wife came forward and said that she recognized all those things that he had on, and that he was using her gloves or some shit like that. It was crazy, and I just was like, that part I was like, okay, I don't know. But they tied it back to him, and they found his real picture, and they put a face to face, and in my opinion it was convincing, but who knows. Then there's this fucking guy is killing me. Oh my God, he's killing everybody. But this is a whole fucking thing. What is it? Oh, giggling Bill Gates. And then they took this down on Facebook. So this is another example. Facebook took this down, and they said that, like, something like, he didn't say that. Like, I was like, what? This is something that I actually shared. I shared this video or whatever, and then the fact checkers came in and were like, he didn't say that. It's in right here. It says, we take genetically modified organisms, and we shoot them right into little kids' arms, right in their vein. And he says this in the video, but when I had the fact check came back and it said he didn't say that, and I just was like, what the fuck? So it's obviously this Facebook fact checking is picking sides, and it's not fact checking, it's censorship, and it's getting really heavy. And it just, for me, it shows that they have an agenda that they're trying to push, and people are waking up to that, and they're trying to shut down the information. So,
Greetings, brothers and
all
sisters.
right,
This
so let's
is
see.
Modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms.
Another thing that I just quickly want to mention is that I used to like to put these channels, like this guy's channel, I would like to put it down here, so that way everybody could go directly to his channel and see his other content, because I'm using other people's videos, and I guess my trade-off was for you to go to their channels and see what other content they have. But the method that sharing I'm using now is I'm doing a lot of this on my phone now, and from my phone it's not as easy to copy and paste all this stuff. If I'm on my desktop, I can do it, but on my phone it's just easier for me to share it. But maybe I'll come back and start putting those in. So
Just shoot them right into the. We're taking have side effects. Something to worry about with
well, let's just listen to what he has to say.
is there something to worry about with medicines? That is, might some of them have side effects? Do we need safety testing? I mean, and we're taking things that are, genetically modified organisms, and we're injecting them in little kids' arms. We just shoot them right into the vein. So, yeah, I think maybe we should have a safety system where we, do trials and test things out.
so that was really interesting, because this was 2015. This was 5 years ago, and it was just kind of fucked up. It was really fucked up because he seemed really enthusiastic about what he was saying. And GMOs, if you're in the conspiracy world, this is shit. Um, your food has genetically modified. The GMOs is another fucking conspiracy shit. There's so many facets to this web. The GMO is another major thing that you should be scared of. And I'm telling you, if you're watching this video, stay away from them. Protest them. If you've got a family, do your best to get the fuck out of the GMO, because they literally want to put the world on GMOs. They want to take out a natural food supply and start feeding you fucking genetically modified food. And we're already doing that now, but they're doing it under the cover of dark, and they're not labeling it. And it pisses me off. But and it's affecting me, because I have to eat the shit too. I mean, I'm a ramen noodle 99 cent guy, so I have to eat this stuff, and I could feel it sometimes in my body, and I'm saying this isn't, and I'm stuck, like it's like a prison. So anyway, it's funny that he said that, how happy he was to say, I'm putting
Them
these.
in little kids' arms. We just shoot them. Things that are, genetically modified organisms, and
And it's
we're
just a joke to him, like, yeah, I mean, that's what we're doing. And this really pissed a lot of people off. I mean, in my opinion, it pissed me off. This is just a Sage Francis. He's a musician, or an yeah, musician, whatever. And he did a song. I guess that this whole right thing inspired him, and he wanted to do a song, and he did it, and he put it out. And at the time, I wanted to put that out there. So what is this? I
To
don't even know
deliver
what
essentials
I don't
like
even know what some
groceries
shit
and
is.
cleaning products. during the COVID-19 outbreak. For the first time,
They didn't
we're
title
getting a
this video
glimpse
because
inside Amazon's fulfillment centers
there was
to
a
see
reason that I
just how
shared
the
this.
company is keeping its employees safe and healthy
Oh
while
yeah, yeah,
still
yeah.
delivering
Okay. So this video, somebody just threw it on there, and what it is, uh, it's getting dark. I need to turn my light on, but it's called Project Mockingbird or something like this, where basically what they're doing, who knows who the fuck they are, right? So the Draconians in a way, they're using the media to brainwash people, and there's a huge we're all divided through counties and sections and countries and cities, but they're using all this division, and they're putting out a megaphone that they're repeating, that they're basically controlling everybody by telling you the same shit. And this is an example of this, and that's why I
to
shared
our
it.
doorsteps. Todd Walker
So we're
takes
gonna
us
go through again.
still
So
delivering
let's
safe
see. So she comes
company
out and
centers
she's
to see
talking about a
government
regular story.
centers
And if
to
you're
see
watching this at your home, you'd say, "Oh, this is individually targeted towards me in my county, in my city." You know, if you know her, you're like, "Oh, she's giving me her personal opinion on something," but that's not the case. So let's see what she says.
just how the company is keeping its employees safe and healthy while still delivering packages to our doorsteps. Todd Walker takes us inside.
Relying on Amazon to deliver essentials for the first time, we're getting a glimpse inside Amazon's fulfillment centers to see how the company is keeping employees safe and healthy while still delivering packages to your door. Todd Walker takes us inside.
Its employees safe and healthy while still delivering packages to your doorstep. Todd Walker takes us inside.
Millions of Americans stay
And
at
it's just
home relying on
repeated,
Amazon
repeated. And I
to deliver
personally,
essentials.
I don't really give a
We're
fuck
getting a
about them,
glimpse inside fulfillment centers to
but
see
I
how the
often
company is
wonder
keeping
like how
employees safe
degrading is that for
while
these
still delivering
people, or and there's more conspiracy because everything you can go down all these holes, but I look at these people and like, how degrading is that to be spitting the same narrative over and over and knowing what you're doing? I mean, that's got to be you've got to be real fucked up. And people in the conspiracy realm, we say, well, they're brainwashed into this. So anyway, so that's that Project Mockingbird. And then here's a UFO video that I saw that I try to share some UFO videos too because I find some of them interesting. It's gonna be coming out of here. Oh, see, here we go right there. And I've seen a lot of UFOs, so that's why I share them because this is one of the things that Cover Up's blog was actually built onto was the UFO thing. So let's watch that again real quick. And it's really quick, but see, there's no explanation for these things, you know? Oh, what the fuck? Yeah, there it was right there in orb. Yeah, I'll go into maybe some of my stories about UFOs later. So Operation Lockstep, Rockefeller's plan for martial law. Now this is probably gonna be a really long video. Oh, it's actually
In 2010, the Foundation script.
I'll play a little bit of it, but because I want to stop this video at one point. I'm gonna just go on and on.
In 2010, they had the Rockefeller Foundation script a plan to introduce martial law and a permanent method for total control of the citizenry. In this plan that they disguised as an academic scenario, as they called it, the method they would use to gain complete prison-like control of the entire population was to infect them with a devastating biological pandemic, and then, under the guise of protecting us from this threat, they would be free to implement their final solution, a prison state.
It's called Lockstep, a world of tighter, top-down government control and more authoritarian leadership with limited innovation and growing citizen pushback. In 2012, the pandemic that the world had been anticipating for years finally hit. Unlike 2009's H1N1, this new influenza strain originating from wild geese, even the most pandemic-prepared nations were quickly overwhelmed when the virus streaked around the world, infecting nearly 20% of the global population and killing 8 million in just 7 months, the majority of them healthy young adults. The pandemic also had a deadly effect on...
So this is one thing that I think a lot of people don't know when they don't realize. Everybody knows this, but we don't realize how important this is, and neither did I because I saw a lot of this. I've always seen these viruses come out, and it's part of their agenda to finally get one to latch. And recently we went through, we're still going through this, but the coronavirus was one of these agendas that they pushed out, and that one got some fucking that one got some foothold for them. They put laws into place and stuff like that. They used governments to push this agenda. What I would like to point out that people need to understand is that this isn't just random happening, okay? This has been going on for a long fucking time, and he just said it right here. I'd like to go through the video one more time, but um, you need to understand what these viruses, and like a good example is the coronavirus is our current state. They've been planning this shit forever. And the whole agenda is not for you to social distance and quarantine in your house. It's to fucking create this Agenda 21 lockdown state. They want to fucking they want to stop people from traveling. They want to lock you down into a prison planet, and it's really fucked up. But all this shit is in black and white. It's not a conspiracy. It's published. They're proud to tell you. If you're new to the conspiracy, you got a lot of research to look into. If you've been researching for a while, you'll know how crazy some of the shit that they're doing is, and what they're planning for the people is. And this is one of the reasons why I also do cover-ups too, is because people need to know about these type of things. And it's really fucked up because people are so occupied with their real life and stuff that they don't have time to look into these things, and or they're scared, and it's scary for a person like me that knows about these things, and to see them playing these agendas out in the world arena, and how the people that don't know are reacting and actually supporting it, because they're blindsided by this agenda, and they think, oh, you're helping me, but deep down these guys are actually planning some sinister ass shit. So I'm gonna just rewind real quick, and to sum it up, and then that'll be the end because we're at the end of this page.
Had the Rockefeller Foundation script a plan to introduce martial
a little
law.
bit more.
In 2010, they had the
2010.
Rockefeller Foundation script a plan to introduce martial
Lockstep.
law, a permanent method for total control of the citizenry.
Rockefeller
This plan that they
Foundation.
disguised as an academic scenario, as they called it, the method they would use to gain complete prison-like.
Why would you want to? But here we go. Complete prison-like control.
Biological pandemic, and then under the guise of,
and this is all in black and white. You could go ahead and read all this shit.
would be free to implement
Using a virus to
prison
push
state.
this into play.
Lockstep, a world of tighter, top-down government control and more authoritarian leadership, with limited innovation and growing.
Can you believe that? That's some draconian reptilian shit, if you ask me. But that's my opinion. So anyway, this is the end of the video. I just wanted to actually kind of like introduce a narrative to the blog in a way. And I want to go through some of the blog a little bit and just kind of explain where I'm at. And I'm going to try my best to keep doing some little videos like this here and there, because I think it's important that anybody is visiting this site. I hope you watch this video. Geez, I don't even really know what else to say. I just hope you I hope you support this, share, not just this video, but these things that I'm sharing out, share them out. I mean, that's the whole point. Support Cover-Ups blog, visit us frequently for new posts, share Cover-Ups with Facebook, family and friends, check the blog archive for more past posts, stand up, speak out, spread the word, hashtag Cover-Ups. Now there's real quick before I end, I'm dragging on here, but I'm trying to create a channel where people can talk back and forth. And this is one thing that believes I'm getting censored, but if you're getting this video, nobody's ever joined this, which I think is silly, because I see so many people coming to the site from everywhere, and it's just like, well, why aren't you joining this? And maybe they don't understand what it is, but if you're a gamer or a younger person, Discord you would know what the hell Discord is. But if you're older and you're not into social media and stuff, Discord is basically a program that is like a chat where you can chat with people back and forth. I tried other chats, but I figured Discord is actually I feel like Discord is a good foundation where I could personally use Discord to talk to people, and that's another thing. I want people, if you're watching this video and you're coming to a Cover-Up's blog, please use the Discord to talk to me because I'm trying to open up a back and forth, and I know I'm gonna regret saying this because I'm gonna get bashed a lot, but I want to open up this to connect with the people that are connecting with me. You know, if you're connecting with me, I want to connect back with you and use this use Discord channel here. Go to the thing, go to this link, and I think it'll tell you to download the program. If you don't even have to do it. I think if you click here, you could actually use it through your browser. You might have to make a name for yourself or whatever, but use the Discord. You know, leave some comments. Tell me if you saw the video or what videos are interesting you. You can share videos there with me if you see something that is interesting, and I check it out and I dig it. I'll throw it up here. So definitely use that. And I think that's it. So I don't want to keep dragging this on because I need to go rest for a bit. So anyway, this is Cover-Up's blog, and I'm out. Peace.